Welcome, Taurus, to your Pisces new moon 1 month forecast for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. For the seventh and final consecutive month, the sun, the king, and the moon, the queen of the skies, are combining at 28 degrees. Incredible synchronicity. But what does it mean for you personally? I'm going to share your event chart and guide you over the next month in terms of your relationships, finance, energy, and work. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to this channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. When we look at an event chart, of course, we're focused on the sun and the moon in Pisces. Now, we know that new moons can be where we set our intentions, but I feel the uniqueness of this one, particularly for you, is that over the next 4 weeks could be a time of enormous culmination of something you set out upon some while ago. And the reason for that, Taurus, is Uranus. Uranus is the planet of disruption, and it's been with you for all but 4 months for the last 7 years, full time since March 2019. It did have a brief visit across the summer in the north, or in the winter in the southern hemisphere from the middle of May to 18. But Uranus pushes us to try to be as fresh as possible. It can be very rebellious, but that rebelliousness may have been taken inwards in the sense that you have an appreciation as a sign for routines that give you a sense of security, and those comforts is something you have a real understanding of. So Uranus, in a way, is a little bit counterintuitive for you. So there may have been times when you've actually decided to stick over the last 7 years rather than twist. But my sense is for a lot of Taurus people, over that period, you've been experimenting, trying out different ways of living your life, but most of all, just getting more and more comfortable with edging outside of your comfort zone. And if you've really gone for it, because the 11th house, so the host is very much about intuition, can be very spiritual, about healing, the sign of Pisces. But the 11th house is about our friendships, our connections, our networks, but critically our higher purpose. And if you've really let Uranus into your world and have in some ways reinvented parts of your approach, not all of them, but some of them, so that, for example, you're living your life more on your terms than what other people used to expect from you, over the next 4 weeks, a quite sensational amount of progress is possible for you, truly. Not least because in the sign of Pisces at the moment, we have the thrust of Mars. And this position of the moon and the sun in the last decan of Pisces, sub-ruled by Mars. Mars equals passion. But Mars is in a fabulous link to Jupiter, the planet which is very much to do with growth, expansion, and fortune, which recently went direct. But if you recall, when Jupiter moved into Cancer early last June, it was conflicted by the stern Saturn. And it's possible that somehow or another, you didn't quite get the uplift that you may have hoped because of more subconscious or hidden issues that may have been activated by Saturn having moved into the sign of Aries. But recently, with Jupiter going direct, it is the traditional ruler of Pisces and mutual receptivity. And Mars is about that thrust. It's about confidence. It is also about action. Jupiter in the third house is about ideas. It's about how we communicate the message. And it can be about technology. We have, however, had Mercury playing a little bit of a mischievous role. Mercury can be about mischief. But since the 6th of February in the sign of Pisces, it's debilitated. But then the 28th of February went into a retrograde. And it may be that around that long-term plan or those connections to others, things actually haven't been very easy recently. And you may have been trying to work out what it was about. Just be assured that Mercury goes direct on Friday. And also is very close to the point of destiny. So if you have an instinct about your future direction, you've been having discussions or thinking that haven't quite flowed, do know with this event, things can start to pick up pace because Uranus is encouraging you to be bolder, step outside that comfort zone, but in a way that gives you that long-term plan that feels comfortable for you. So it has to feel right. That's the moon energy, but also the Piscean water energy. And if you have got a clear picture of what you want to achieve, and that strategy is well rehearsed, and you're collaborating with people that you really like to be with, you're going to take some giant step forwards over the next 4 weeks. But if we look at the most northerly planet in the event chart, it's Pluto. So that tells me that something around your connections to the world can be about work, not necessarily, could be to do with influential people, even your parents. It could be you're the parent, but your ability to see the big picture and also to be a leader is really going to show up because Saturn in that 12th house is for you about instinct, a kind of Pisces vibe. If you have instincts and you can structure your approach in a way which can raise your profile, but also beyond the money when it comes to trends. Trends are very much part of the 11th house, but the 11th house can be lucky. I must tell you that. The only way that this isn't going to work out quite so well for you, and there is your ruler Venus, in a square with Jupiter, is being overconfident, because that aspect can actually be lovely to go and enjoy the good things in life. But it could also see you be very generous to someone who's less fortunate, which is lovely. But if you're not sure about that plan, you don't feel you're leading your life on your terms. You feel a bit unsure that a golden prize that you've been making your way towards for some while is no longer appealing to you. I think over the next 4 weeks, what you may do is actually go into a deep period of reflection. But that reflection is all because you want to find and define that higher purpose. And good for you if so. So it is a little bit binary, actually, this particular event for you. If you're really enjoying and have gained a lot of confidence from Uranus being in your sign, enjoying who you are now, and have got the connections that work for you, you may have seen a bit of a turnover in some of your associations, even friendships over the last 7 years. And you may be much more assured of being in your own space, but also doing what works for you as an individual. Not everybody may have got that. But if you are someone who feels a bit lost at the moment and you haven't quite picked up that energy, maybe because you've got personal planets that are further into Taurus, so you're really getting the energy of Uranus right now and haven't experienced it quite so viscerally before now. It could be that something needs to change right now, and having the confidence to change will obviously take some real pluck. But you can do it. No, you can do it. But something may need to be released in order to bring in new energy, new spark, and new passion, which is important because we're talking about the energy of the 11th house is about really getting in touch with your higher purpose. Now, to just summarize, as far as finances are concerned, if you have really been doing something you're truly enjoying, you're collaborating with people, they're the right kind of connections for you, you've embraced some new and fresh and innovative approaches, perhaps to do with technology, you really could cash in over the next month. If it is around more working for someone else, you're not so entrepreneurial, and you're in a situation where you don't like the atmosphere, it's not very collaborative, people don't help each other, I think you could start looking for another job. If you're wanting to know more about your energy, I think your energy can be very high if you're really in touch with what you're doing in a very positive way. If you're not, I think there can be a sense of needing to give yourself some rest and just really carefully think over what your options are. But you will emerge, particularly when the sun returns to your sign, you will re-emerge in a much more dynamic way if you are going through a period of uncertainty. When it comes to romantic relationships per se, Venus is in your 12th house. So if you have been going through a period of reflection about what to do, because that can be a time when relationships end, and of course Venus has just gone over Saturn, so that may have been a critical situation for you. You may still be a little bit unsure about what to do. Just know by the 30th of March, things will start to clarify for you. If you've yet to watch your Venus in Aries deep dive forecast, please see the link on the screen. If you've yet to watch your Jupiter direct forecast for the next 4 months, please click on the screen for that. You can sign up for your free daily horoscope at my website at patrickarundell.com. Get it fired to your device each morning. It gives you that early day pit stop to just consider what's going on. If you would like to work with me one-to-one, please see my testimonials below. And if you'd like to order your personal horoscopes, they're great value, very accurate, totally unique for the person they're produced for. The life roadmap can give us searing insights into the patterns that have played out in our lives so far. The forecast helps us to time our moves. And if you go for the Natal version, 50% off by applying Astro 26 at the checkout. If you want the Draconic Soul Karmic version, please apply Draco 26 at the checkout. Thank you so much. Wishing you all the best for this new moon.